What's up, everybody? My name's Chance. Today we're going to be diving into an Outlaws Merriment deck, or a Mythic Merriment, if you will, as somebody finally managed to take this card all the way to number 654 in Mythic, which means it's not clowning around. It's not about just a little party that goes on anymore. Now it's actually got a little bit of substance to it. It's actually doing some work. So y'all know I've loved this card since it came out in Throat and Drain. It's a 4-mana enchantment. If you don't know what it does, maybe you've been living underneath a rock. It's super incredible. So at the beginning of your upkeep, each turn, you're going to choose one randomly, so you don't actually choose. The fates choose. You're going to create a red-white creature token with one of these three characteristics. A 3/1 with Trample and Haste, a 2/1 with Lifelink and Haste, or a 1/2 that deals 1 damage whenever it enters the battlefield. Now, y'all know I've played this in party decks, I've played this all out on its own, I've played this in jank decks. This deck that we're bringing here today is a very aggro-oriented deck. Now, I'm not going to be doing the power and the difficulty and all that kind of stuff, as these videos that have been going out here recently have been very rushed, and I've been under a lot of ulterior stuff right now, so you know, bear with me. But the power, the control, the difficulty, the speed, all that we will still discuss. So the difficulty to play this is not very difficult, as a lot of it is a very beeline sort of strategy. You want to take out your opponent as quickly as possible. If that doesn't happen, then you have your defensive plays, such as Akroan, Bonecrusher, Skyclave, Ox to help you refill your hand, right? And then of course Outlaws Merriment to give you those life linkers, to give you the trample if your opponent's chum blocking, and to give you that random 1 extra point of damage, which seems kind of meaningless, but if you think about it, there's a lot of 1 health creatures out there. Edgewall Innkeeper, Fervent Champion, you know, all this kind of stuff that's actually pretty crucial for you to get rid of. So Outlaws Merriment, super good in giving you maybe not exactly what you need every time, but giving you something to put you a little bit closer to the victory for sure. And it coming down on turn 4, you know, as long as you don't just get immediately wrecked by a mono red that goes Annex, Torbrand, Embercleave, you know, you're doing all right. You're doing pretty good. So diving into the lower end of this deck, we have 2 copies of Giant Killer. This helps deal with those Gruul decks, the mono green food decks, all those decks to get really, really big creatures. Also allows you to tap your opponent's creatures, which can be nice in finishing out the game, right? Tap their biggest one, swing in with the rest of yours, and should be good to go. Next up, we have 4 copies of Luminarch Aspirant. This is to help build up, whether it be the Outlaw Merriment tokens, or your Hallowblade, or your Intimidator. It just builds your creatures and makes them a little bit more resilient to, you know, removal, and a little bit big and beefier on the swing end, so. Seasoned Hallowblade, hard for the opponent to remove, as it does have the ability to gain indestructible. Be careful about what cards you're discarding, as sometimes your opponent wants you to discard, and that's what they're trying to do, not actually take out your Seasoned Hallowblade. So read through the lines there and see when it's best. Of course, if you can, make sure you're discarding the Ox first, as you can always escape it later, so you don't lose too much value on that discard. Kargan Intimidator, really nice, given you do have a fair amount of warriors here with the Seasoned and the Hallowblade. The Seasoned and the Hallowblade. My goodness, Chance. With the Intimidator and the Hallowblade, as well as the warriors that you occasionally get from Merriment, that little coward thing can sometimes be useful. But for the most part, you'll be giving it +1/+1 or the trample, and again, that is to help push through your opponent's defenses. Next up, we have 4 copies of Robber of the Rich. You love going first with this deck. You absolutely love it. Robber does its work, comes down, takes the opponent's stuff. And you know, one thing I think people sleep on about the Robber is it has reach, which means if you're not just blasting out the gate doing fantastic, and your opponent does get down flyers, you're not just screwed. You know, you got a little 2/2 reacher, which means you can chum block, or maybe you can double block into something. You got a little bit of something to deal with those flyers, right? Speaking of flyers, 2 copies of Maul, the Skyclaves. This is to help you finish out the game with a little bit of evasion, right? Gives your creatures flying, first strike, +2/+2 stat lines, and you can equip it all around. So it's a good card. Skyclave Apparition for some removal. Also comes down as a 2/2 creature, which obviously helps you proc your Embercleave, right? Bonecrusher, removal plus a 4/3 body, which is really good to pick up the Embercleave. 1 copy of the Akroan War to take control of our opponent's creatures. Really good against the Gruul decks, mono green decks, rogue decks even. And most any/all decks out there nowadays. Even Yorion decks play big sharks, so if you can take a big shark, then hey, at least it's on your side, right? 2 copies of Ox, as we mentioned, this is great for that mid to late game card draw. It's great as the discard option for Hallowblade, and it's great just in general for coming down and then taking the Embercleave, right? Only costs 2 mana if you are going to escape it, which means even if you haven't hit your land draws for a game, as long as you can get this out of your hand, you can cast it more than likely, right? And then last but not least, let's not forget the Embercleave. That is the way we're going to be finishing out a lot of these games if it's not due to, you know, overwhelming them with Outlaws or evading them with Maul, then it's going to be punching through them, so to speak, with Embercleave, right? Gives us +1/+1 double strike trample, can come down for super cheap, and whenever you have things like Outlaws Merriment creating you tokens and creatures every single turn, it's generally going to come down for anywhere 2 to 3 mana, right? And last but not least, we have Shatterskull for some additional removal as well as a land drop, and then it's just, you know, do the best you can with the lands. If you got pathways, use them. You got temples, use them. You got fables, use them. It's a 2-color deck, not too much of a headache there. Hope you've been enjoying this deck tech breakdown style, the video, the gameplay, all these new decks and thumbnails, all the, you know, collective whole of the channel, as it were. Anyways, if so, please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and the bell icon that pops out afterwards. I do appreciate it a ton. We're nearing the 10,000 subscriber mark, so of course we have cool things rolling out like a new website, emotes, sub badges, all this cool stuff, which I've already announced. But if you're looking for that announcement, you can go to the YouTube community page and scroll back a little bit. I think I have it all listed out. Anyways, thanks again everybody for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if y'all are enjoying, and without further ado, I'll see you in the matches. Tui gonna be our next foe, rocking a Yorion deck, and this hand seems like we have plenty of lands. We got the Scryage, we gotta go second. I'll keep it. Hopefully we won't draw a land here, because I don't think we need 5 off the bat for, well, really any reason. Ox, hey. Yeah, see, we don't need 5 off the bat. Giant Killer, opponent's playing Yorion and a plane so far. The Giant Killer will come in handy if they get down to Yorion, but outside of that, is it really worth it? Like, should we instead be looking for an Embercleave to finish the game out quickly? I think so. I think this is a matter of what's best, not what's good. And a lot of the times, I am guilty of not doing that enough, of not saying what is best instead of what is good, right? Because everything in your deck should be good for your deck. There's a reason why it's in your deck, right? So it's a matter of, is it good or is it what's best in that situation, right? You're always trying to make the best play. So if I play Robber, they have 6 cards as well, which means we're not actually proccing Robber. I want to get down Luminarch. There's something to be said about building this little creature up, and if it can live. Now obviously we're playing up against a Yorion deck, which means they have a lot of exile, you know, ECDs, glass caskets, banishing lights, all this stuff that doesn't really matter your power. But if we can get Luminarch built up and get in some damage, or have it built up something else, I'll be pretty happy. So we already have double white here. We'll get down another red source so we can have double red as well. Do I just play the big 4/3 Bonecrusher? Half of me says yes. The other half says, why don't you just go ahead and swing in first chance before you get too ahead of yourself? But yeah, I think I do. Again, this comes down to what's best, and I think rushing down the Yorion player, potentially hitting, you know, Embercleave next turn or whatever, is probably what's best. Because if we hit an Embercleave next turn, that's 14 points of damage, you know? That's pretty good. Now, they may shatter us here. Skyclave to take out the Bonecrusher. No, to take out the Luminarch, actually. Interesting. So no Embercleave there, and well, y'all know we are sad because of that. That's alright. Let's see, we already have a mountain in our hand, so we'll grab another plains here. We can play down Kargan and Robber. Well, I definitely want to play down the Robber, and I'm probably going to go ahead and swing in, because this does proc Robber, and playing Kargan down here doesn't do anything, to whereas if we hit something that the Robber could play, which, you know, we didn't, but if we had, then we would want to play it there instead of the Kargan, right? So we're going to trade out Skyclave for Robber, fine by me. We'll also get a 2/2 back off of the Luminarch that was exiled, and then we'll get down a Kargan Intimidator. Now we do have 9 points of damage on the board, which again means if we draw into an Embercleave, which there are 3 in the deck, then should be kablamo. We win, right? Let's see though, because they could have board wipe. You never know. Those pesky board wipes just lurk around. Now if they do, I'm probably just gonna slam him out and slam an Ox, right? A little ECD action to take the Bonecrusher. So we still have 6 points of damage potentially on the field. Skyclave, you can only take things up to 4, right? And CMC or ECD is 5, so decisions. I really do want to play the Ox, but in the same manner, I really don't want to discard a Skyclave, you know what I mean? Alright, well, I think I am going to commit to the Ox. Mostly because I want lethal on board. I guess we could have +1 up on this Kargan there and then played the Skyclave down, but hey, you know what? We hit an Embercleave, we hit 2 more Skyclaves, so like it kind of doesn't matter. Kind of doesn't matter. Anyways, finally seeing that Embercleave is fantastic for us. Now if we can, you know, just get it to go off. Of course, they have two mana there that we can't trust. Never trust an island in a swamp that's left up. That's a Heartless Act. That's some removal. That actually is a Heartless Act. I'm so good. I'm so good at this game. So, even swinging in, we can't use Embercleave because of the ECD, right? What we can do is use Skyclave. Take their Skyclave. This will give us a 2/2 back. Swing in, puts them to 6, and then I think we just stay here. Right? We don't play anything down. Yeah, because if we can even get an Embercleave, alright, that's fine. I can take my Skyclave again. Maybe I should have played the season. Maybe I should have played the season. Shark Typhoon. Big Shark Typhoon. So if I swing in with both, Embercleave goes down to costing 4. Can't really do anything except for play the Giant Killer there. I still think we gotta go for it, because if they don't block, that is lethal. So they do have to, yeah. Yep. Do your little blockerino here. Little Embercleave and punch through here. That'll give us a 3/3 back. Put them down to 3 life. And I'll put a Giant Killer down it just as an extra body. I mean, we saw, had I played that Seasoned Hallowblade on the last turn, that would have been lethal here, right? The 3 extra damage is all we were missing. That's the thing, though. Sometimes you don't want to overcommit to the board, because the board wipe would be horrific. And sometimes you're like, you know, maybe I needed to commit a little harder. So they're exiling our Embercleave. Big surprise, am I right? Big surprise. So our main concern here is the fact that we're going to put them back to 1 health, essentially. It's funny how that works. Alright, so we can't take their stuff with Skyclave. We can tap their Shark. And we'll swing it with these 2. The 3/3 will trade out with the 3/3, so the 2/2 will get in. They'll have 1 life left, essentially. I say we go ahead and push that. Alright, you're down to 1. Uno mas. And to think we were so close to lethal. Oh no, they had the golden egg. We were not that close. Alright, so we got those down. Skyclave. I guess Skyclave could have taken the egg, but they would have just sacrificed the egg right there, so it's whatever. They 1, 2, 3, 4. They could have enough to double bounce the Yorion next turn, but the only thing I could take is the Omen. I'm gonna get down the Season and Ox. You don't have enough yet, do you? Nope. Alright. Alright. Let's see. So again, we have lethal on board, but that can, of course, all change. The tap land for the foe is so crucial for us. If it was untapped, they would have the ability to pull Yorion over, slam a jam it right down. Treacherous Blessing, it's not fantastic for us, but you know, it costs them life every time they want to play a spell now. So as long as they don't hit a Doom Foretold perfectly here, which they don't have the mana for, do they? 1, 2. Oh yes, they do. I don't like people doing that. having two different kinds of planes and whatnot. Alright, my turn. Luminarch Aspirant. So we can tap the 5/5. The 3/3 blocks to the 3/1. The 2/2 gets through. Alright, let's get down the Aspirant. We will buff up this guy, right? I'll tap you. Tappy tappy. Alright, up to 3. We could have also Skyclave their Treacherous, but that just sounds like a horrible idea. Here, let me take that for you. Alright. Swing all in. They should block the 3/3 body over here, right? Not the Seasoned. Treacherous dealing a little bit of damage to him, but I trust that they're going to play this safe enough. They really took that Embercleave at the most inopportune time. I feel like they got an extinction event here. They were checking my creatures too carefully there. Alright, so we're still what? 3 cards away from Ox? It's so terrible. Alright. Taking out both the sharks. Discard you. We're so close to almost lethal. Skyclave Apparition going to take our Seasoned Hallowblade. Not a surprise there. Or maybe they're going to take out Giant Killer. They should take the Hallowblade though. I think. It doesn't matter to me. Just pick one. I don't care. How many cards we got? We got 7 in graveyard. The sad thing is we were so close to just having like Bonecrusher lethal so many times. If I could have drawn an Outlaws Merriment that gave me that creature that just deals, you know, 1 damage on the occasion, would have been good. But alas, here we are. Searching, scrounging. Opponent's on 3 life. Acting like their actual lives depend on it. That's okay, Tui. I understand. It's an intense game. If you mess up, who knows? You might get locked in the basement. Treacherous Blessing, dealing another damage. Yorion gonna bounce the Omens. They're at 2 life, which means we literally just need a Bonecrusher Giant. I think it's extremely cocky of them to play to that point, right? Come on, Bonecrusher. Come on, come on, come on. How many cards we got over here now? 7? Okay. Alright. Yeah. Bounce this stuff. Draw your cards. They're all out of mana, so they can't counter us, you know, regardless. All they can do is scry up here and hope they see what they want. Alright. 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom. And again, 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom. They gotta have something there that they're enjoying, right? Alright, come on. Bonecrusher off the top. How many Bonecrushers have we seen this game? 0? Well, that's pretty good odds. It didn't happen, but it was pretty good odds. So play that. Still have enough for that. That's not too shabby. But if I need 3 for anything? Or 4? No, because it'll be too late for that. Alright, let's see. Let's just see. Alright, so all attack. They have to block here because otherwise, you know, lethal and whatnot. And I know what you're thinking, Chance, why are you all attacking? This doesn't make any sense. I actually want them to block and destroy my creatures, and this way we can fill up the graveyard, and then Ox can do its thing. Of course, they block both creatures, because if they don't block the Luminarch and they go down to 1 life, then Treacherous will take them out, right? They are like all in on this block, and I don't even have anything. It was literally just for the sake of doing this with the Ox. Alright. I wish it was just select all, you know, because that's, I only have 8 over here. Alright, come on, give me a Bonecrusher. Bonecrusher. That is what I would like to see. Hey, there it is. GG, Tui. You got us so close, man. GG. GG. Actually, there. Alrighty, Brown is going to be our first foe for the day. And it looks like we have a solid hand here. We have 3 lands, which means we should be able to get to the Skyclave and the Bonecrusher. Well, we'll need another plains for the Skyclave. But, you know, close enough. Close enough. Let's lead out with our plains. We don't want to scare the opponent already, right? Making them think we're mono red Andes. So, Brushfire Elemental coming down for the foe. That Needleverge is really, really good for us. I think we go ahead and take out Brushfire here. Because you wait till their turn, they can play a land, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then it's up to the 3/3, and you can't take it out. So, yeah, see, they just got a little wasted turn there. Alright, so we'll throw this down as white mana. On our next turn, we can actually get down the Merriment. So I am going to just play the Bonecrusher. Don't let them know too much of what's going on. Also, yeah, if they have a Bonecrusher, they can't take out my Bonecrusher. They just, you know, do this sort of little song and dance. Alright, so we hit the Fabled. I am going to use the Fabled instead of using the Shatter. And yeah, let's get the Merriment down. This is what we came to see, right? Some Outlaws Merriment. They're going to let the damage ride. That's fine by me. Now, it is real aggro, so we need to be a little cautious as far as... Well, yeah, great hinge, but there's nothing we can do about that. I was going to say as far as Embercleave goes, right? 1 damage to anything? Well, let's deal 1 damage to the face. We could have dealt 1 damage to the Bonecrusher, I suppose, as well, but we can also just play Skyclave plus Seasoned here. And should be able to deal with their board state, right? Minus the great hinge. We're just going to sort of have to... deal through that one, so to speak, right? Alright, so next to combat, get in with these 5 points of damage. This puts him down to 10 life. And then let's see, 5, 7. Okay, so we basically have lethal, right? I saved the 2 mana for the Bonecrusher. See, now I can do something like this. And it takes out their Bonecrusher, takes out the draw that they get, or would have gotten rather, off of that Bonecrusher coming down and the Great Hinge tapping, right? So now they don't get the card draw and they don't get that creature down. So we don't have lethal anymore, which is fine. It is fine. All good things, you know, must have a wall in front of them. Embercleave, that's really good. Now, Skyclave can't take tokens, so it won't be able to take that 3/3 illusion. But what we can do is get down the Seasoned Hallowblade here. And more than likely the Bonecrusher, I want to go ahead and swing in first. We don't care that the 3/3 may block a 1/2. We don't care that the 3/3 may block the 4/3. We're clearing out their board side. We know we have an Embercleave coming out. We have another Bonecrusher to come down to take that Bonecrusher's place. So... feeling pretty confident with where we're at. Kazandu, what do you do? Alright. Ooze. Oh, I did not see that one coming. Alright. Draws, and more draws. Lovestruck Beast. Did they hardcast it? No, they cast a 1/1. You're crazy. You're actually crazy. Alright, so this 2/1... Oh, is the lifelink haster. Alright, well, that's fine. I'll take another creature. Alright, so if I use Shatterskull, we can deal 4 damage, which is enough to take out Ooze plus the 1/1. Or we could use Skyclave, still have 3 mana left over, which is plenty for the Embercleave. I think that's by far the best option, right? Skyclave, take you, and then we'll just Embercleave more than likely on the Bonecrusher Giant. We'll have to wait and see for sure, but... Alright, Brown, what you got? Single block on the Ooze. And Bonecrusher. Alright, exile, as per the usual for the ooze. Is it going to be enough? And should I... See, that's 10, 12, 13, 14. That should be lethal, right? Like, I shouldn't need to keep the Seasoned alive. I'm going off of math here. Alright, fantastic. Perfectly to 0. And we're picking up our first victory in a game 1. Always feels excellent. Jindal. Or Jindal? Like, I don't know. We get to go second again. Hey, isn't that fantastic? We've gone second a lot this morning. That's fine. We'll keep it. I got no qualms with it. We have our days where we go first every single time, and we have our days where we go second every single time. So, not a big deal. We'll go ahead and get down the Giant Killer here, just in case it is mono red or whatever, you know? It's Rakdos. Hey, Mire Triton. Oh, boy. I gotta say, of all the like basic little decks running around, Rakdos is one of my least favorites. They're so annoying. In the worst way, by the way. So annoying in the worst way. Let's go ahead and take out that Mire Triton and get in with the Giant Killer. Next turn we can use Skyclave Apparition if they want to try something sneaky. If they make us discard, what are we looking at doing here? I guess they're not, you know, it doesn't matter. They're not going to make us discard. So, am I going for Skyclave to take out the Time Merit Calls the Dead? Probably. I feel like that's a good thing to do there. We could also play down Luminarch, boost up Giant Killer, but I don't feel like that's really worth it. Instead, let's take their Scry, their additional creature, and their life gain, which is, you know, 3 pretty good things for them. Oh, also the mill. Let's not forget the mill. So Skyclave Shade, I imagine it'll come back this turn. The nice thing is it can exact or not. Or not. Alright, that's fine. Just another 2/2 body on the board. We'll take the 2 damage. No biggie, no biggie. We actually have enough to Embercleave here if we really wanted to. Like, Embercleave on the Skyclave, we would end up dealing 4 or 5 damage. I just want to get down the Merriment, you know? We came here for a reason. I don't want to disappoint. We can get down Embercleave at a later date. It's no biggie. No biggie. Generally, these Rakdos decks aren't the kind of decks that look into your hand and then discard. They're usually the kind that plays the Kroxa and lets you choose what you want to discard, right? So, we're alright with that. Rankle. See what I mean? They let us choose. Isn't that nice? Now they still make us, you know, hard decision. Do I want to block? Do I want to take, you know, 6-7 damage on the face? It is what it is. Probably gonna make us draw a card here too, which I guess I'm not opposed to. Oh, just discard. We have to discard the Luminarch here. The Robber is our defense against the Rankle, and while Luminarch Robber is the best defense against Rankle, I feel like this is fine. So, Outlaws gives us some lifelink. Hey, that's really poggerific, because now we can use Embercleave on that creature. So wait a minute, if I play you down, we swing in with 3, it only costs 3. That's doable. That's so doable. That's the Dewey Decibel system, basically. Alright, resolve this. Why are they choosing to use the Revolving Wilds on our turn? I don't know. But that's fine. Fabled Passage. Because, you know, generally you use things like that to get your Skyclaves and whatnot. So that's what's a little confusing to me. Anyways, we'll swing all in. Argument could be made, I guess, for... Or no, we can't use Embercleave until right, that comes down. So they're going to block the Robber. They're going to... No? I don't know what they're going to block. They're going to block the Skyclave? So, Embercleave. Time for some Embercleave. I'm going to put it on the Skyclave so Skyclave doesn't die. I do think there's something to be said about putting it on the lifelinker, but we don't put it on the Skyclave. They get a 3/3 back, which they can attack, so, you know. Obviously, we hope that they don't play anything like Embercleave, but that's not generally in Rakdos's MO. I'm not going to say that they never play Embercleave, I'm just, you know, generally. Generally. So swinging in, we take this on the face. They can't really make us discard because we don't have anything. So you can make me draw a card. Hey, I'd be happy with that. Make us sacrifice a creature? Well, we're going to sacrifice the robber. We have a lifelink here. And I have Skyclave here, so... While the robber is cool, and I love stealing stuff from the foe, it's just not worth it. So both Skyclaves maybe come down here. They still have 4 mana, which is why I'm a little like... You haven't seen a Kroxa? You've been through 15 of the top cards and you haven't seen 5 Kroxas? That's insane. Another lifelinker. That is something. So I don't think we need you to have the Embercleave anymore, right? I mean, we can actually just take this off you, gain some life up here. It'll be okay. Swing, swing. They can't block at all, so this is gonna be 6, 7, 8 damage. It could be 10, put them down to 4 life. We're gonna put ourselves back up to 6, 8, 16 damage. Yes, please. So they're down to 4, we're to 16, and we also get the Bonecrusher to defend what's on the ground. So we're in a pretty good position up against Rakdos, honestly, which I feel a little bad for saying I was worried. Akroan, they better be careful here. They better be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. Yep. Oh, that's not them being careful, I can tell you that now. Oh. Sorry, doggos, you know how that goes. So we'll block the 2/2 here. The 3/1s can get in. That's 9 points of damage that they're sending at us, but I don't see any instant procs here, so you know, whatever. I think they've made a grave mistake here, not leaving any creatures back to defend with, and they took a tapped creature from me, so it can't defend. Really praying they find what they want here, huh? Let's give up the 2/1 with lifelink. I don't feel like we need it near as much now that we have the 4/3 with potential, and Kroxa is not lethal on us, so that's fine. GG. Gentle, you know, trying everything you can, but still not close enough. And we're climbing right through diamond.